Looking at the second pasuk in Perek Lamechet, now that we've described how Yehuda was distanced from his brothers and he went to Ish Adulami, whose name was Shira, we now find in pasuk Beis, Vayar Sham Yehuda, and Yehuda there sees Bat Ish Knani, a daughter of an individual who is a Knani, Ushmo Shua, and this person's name is Shua, Vayikacheha. So Yehuda takes Bat Shua, the daughter of Shua, and Vayikacheha is the language of Nesuin, of marriage. Vayavo Elaha, he marries her. The obvious question that the Mefarshim have here is this idea of Bat Ish Knani. What does it mean that Yehuda married a daughter of an individual who's a Knani? Because after all, we know there was a very, very severe injunction by the Avos HaKadoshim not to marry daughters who were Mibno Knan. So how is it possible that Yehuda comes and marries a Bat Ish Knani? That's why Rashi, sensitive to this question, answers in one word, Knani Tagra. A Tagra is a merchant. Based on a pasuk in Eov, that Knani is not always a person from Canaan, but it's a description of a person. Bat Ish Knani means he married a daughter of an individual who's a merchant, and the merchant's name was Shua, and that's how the Rashi explains this. In fact, the Rechaim HaKadosh, who quotes this Rashi and who says Perush Socher, he quotes also the Ibn Ezra. Vagon Harav Avram Ibn Ezra Katav V'Yitachen Shehu K'Mashma'o. The Ibn Ezra says perhaps it is literal that he married a person from Canaan. V'ani Omer, says the Rechaim HaKadosh, and I say, Ki lo yitachen shidabku b'nei Yaakov b'davar shikpidu elav avoteim shlostam yacha. I say it's impossible that something that the forefathers were so makpid on that their children should just not be sensitive to this. U'kamram b'psochim perak gimel. V'katuv shamar tadavar b'ma shedikdek lomar bat ish knani. Perush avia knani lo hi knani. And we further see, says the Rechaim HaKadosh, it doesn't say that she is an Isha Knani. It says that her father is a Knani. Ube'eza ofen yadavar, and in what way would it be possible for him to be a Knani and for her not to be a Knani? Ilo shetamar socher, unless we say that Knani means a merchant. Ve'ilo aya Knani mamash, and if Knani should be understood as we normally understand Knani as a nationality, and we would say here that Yehuda did something improper. The Torah should have spelled it out that he saw there an Isha Knani, a daughter of a Knani. If indeed he did something improper, like the Ibn Ezra wants to argue, so it should have been much more explicit. V'shem avi Yeshua, and her father's name was Shua. Ve'em bazatov sef teva al michtav asher katav, and it wouldn't be taking away or adding anything to write it in this way that they saw there bat Knani v'shem avi Yeshua, if that's exactly what it's supposed to mean. V'linyan gilui milsa kazeh nemar lishtok v'chtov vadai. And here the Ibn Ezra says something very cryptic, but very powerful, which the Perush on the Ibn Ezra explains on the bottom. Ritzano lomar linyan gilui milsa kazeh. Something so public like this, that Yehuda did davar bilti agun, nemar lishtok. It's better to be quiet. Shelo lotzi lazo loto sadik misafek. It's better not, when you're not sure, it's better not to speak negatively about a tzaddik like Yehuda, that perhaps he married a Knani woman. V'lichtov davar vadai. Shim perush socher hinenu bituchim shelosh asinu mitcha bilsonenu. Sha'af sheina perush kain ein ra. And even if it doesn't mean socher, we've done nothing wrong. It's better to be safe than sorry, says the Rechaim HaKadosh. And we learn here a Gevaldik Musar lesson, where the Rechaim HaKadosh is telling us, if you're not quite sure if a person did something improper, and particularly in the case of great people, then it's better to err on the side of caution and assume that we can explain it in another way rather than in a negative way. And this is just a general view in life, that when we're not quite sure, it's better lishtok, it's better to be quiet than to go off on the bandwagon saying, look, this person must have done, when we don't know, and it's not clear. and the Torah, by the fact that it says it in such a vague type of way, can easily be understood that a Canaanite means a merchant. The Ramban develops this at length, and he asks the basic question, well, who indeed, aside from Yehuda, all the Shatim, who indeed did they marry? I mean, what options did they have? I understand that Avram had an option for Yitzchak, and Yitzchak had an option for Yaakov. But for Yaakov's children, who was there to marry, right? Where are all the girls to be found? So here, the Ramban says the following, Bat ish Kanani, Amar Unklus Tagra, he quotes Unklus, which is Rashi, which is a merchant. Klamar ish tocher sheba lagor be'eretz b'schorata, an individual who was not from Canaan, but who came to live in this region of Adulam because of being involved in business. V'dato lomar, and it means to say, according to Unklus, Ki b'nei Yaakov yishtamru melisa knaniot kasher tziva avihem Yitzchak gam Avraham. And from here we see that all the b'nei